a painting was a person. Like that's all right. We're going to keep the comedy rolling with your next performer coming to stage. I want you to clap it up for the very funny Mr. Royce Emily, everybody. Clap it up for him.
Good evening, my name is Royce. I'm also known as Royce by choice, but that's because I talk in rhyme. I'm also the oldest comedian here. We haven't found an older one. When you get to be my age, one of the problems is you have a hearing problem. You lose the one ear that your wife talks into. And then God does something else to you. He gives you selective hearing. No, I don't remember you telling me that. Did I say that? Oh. And I've discovered I had this hearing problem, and I've been looking for a job, and I went to this guy who said that he would try and fit me into the right job. Well, I used to be in advertising, and I was a creative director, art director, and writer, and he loved my background. But after he heard about my hearing, he said, I think I've got a spot for you in this company. You could probably do well in the complaint department. I have never explained up here why I talk in rhyme. About 18 years ago, I got encephalitis, and I went into a coma for 3 months, and woke up, and I had been called the Lazarus Man, the Miracle Man, because I beat the encephalitis. 2 out of 3 people die from encephalitis, and the one that does survive usually ends up with such severe brain damage that disabled the rest of their lives. So they had told my wife that I'd either die or wake up brain dead because my MRI looked like I'd had a frontal lobotomy. And instead, after 3 months, I wake up and I've got all my facilities back, and the neurologist comes in and he said, "You're the Miracle Man." He says, "It's amazing. You not only beat that," he said, "but it seems that your brain was triggered into moving everything from the damaged areas over to unused parts of your brain. In your terms," I'm a computer guy, he says, "it reformatted your hard drive." He said, "However, there's one tiny little problem." And I said, "What's that?" He said, "Do you know you're talking in rhyme?" I said, "I do it all the time. I feel fine." He said, No. He said, "No one can have a conversation with you without running out of the room laughing." He said, "Did you ever rhyme before?" I said, "Never." He said, "Well," he said, "we can't find anything in the medical books where anybody has woke up from a coma talking in rhyme." He said, "So you may end up in a medical book." He said, "There's going to be a stream of neurologists coming in to visit you." So they would come in, and of course the first question they'd ask is, "Who's the President of the United States?" I'd say, "Is this a trick question? Do you have an election while I was in the coma or what?" You know. And anyhow, I'm sitting there thinking and talking in rhyme, thinking in rhyme. And so being they left me in this room all by myself, in my mind, I started to write a book, all in rhyme, called The Town of Rhyme, a place in the Everglades that got lost in time, where everyone talks in rhyme. And you can still buy a Coke for a dime. About a little boy who goes out in the Everglades, runs into these old men, and they say, "Who are you? Have you been here a while?" He says, "Yeah, my name is Kyle." He says, "Who are you?" He says, "Oh, I'm old man Drew, but don't ask me my last name, I don't have a clue." He says, "Well, who's that other man with the big stick?" "Oh, that old fool, we call him Limerick." Well, as you can see, I wrote the whole thing in conversational rhyme. And when I got out of the hospital, I got it published, and it went absolutely nowhere. However, I discovered that I was a poet and didn't know it. And I was writing poetry, never done it in my life, and I would do things like this. After days of needing some inspiration with a lot of stress and perspiration, I decided to sell my creative muse, since of late he has been of little use. I didn't know what I should ask since he takes naps while on the task. My cat thought I was about to sell a mouse. He chased me throughout the house. I tried to tell him a muse is not a meal. He said, then why do you act hungry like I feel? That cat does have a point, I guess, but this muse is making such a mess of all my personal thoughts and poems. I decided I should trade him for some gnomes. Well, I finally know what I have to do, and my muse will not have any clue. I'll pretend to write a creative verse. Instead, I'll place on him a curse. I'll tell the cat he is a mouse. And I started writing all this stupid poetry, and then my friend said, well, why don't you enter it into contests? And lo and behold, those dumb people out there thought I was a poet and gave me awards. I said, this is weird. But one of the things that my wife demanded was that I learn not to talk in rhyme. And ironically, it was very difficult to do. But anyhow, I went for a job last week, and I told you that one. My forget-me-not notes. I'll go study them and talk to you next time. Good night.
One more time for Royce, everybody. Clap it up for him. All right, folks, we're going to keep things moving right along here. Your next comedian coming to stage, I want you to clap it up for the very funny Miss Kiana, everybody. Clap it up for her.